minister and having the president of the state issuing statements, they are so dehumanizing, evoking violence, not once, not twice, continuously for months. It's supported by jurisprudence in other cases that this is genocidal incitement. And look what, it's been reflected, it has reverberated across the conduct of troops on the ground. They've used the same words. Amalek. Amalek is is a program in itself. And then, as you say, are there documents? If you read my report, you will see that I've quoted official documents, legal analysis, that the legal justification that Israel uses. There are two, one version and then an updated version with the key legal findings. And it's exactly what I said. It's humanitarian camouflage because they justify what they're doing using IHL categories.
And now we are joined by Triestino Mariniello, a professor of law at Liverpool John Moores University and a member of the legal team representing Gaza victims before the International Criminal Court. Professor, great to have you here with us on TRT World. Now, in the past few months, many experts have equated Israeli actions to a genocide. But correct me if I'm wrong, this is perhaps the first time a senior UN official has equated Israel's actions, Israeli attacks in Gaza to genocide. What's your navigation through this?
Well, first of all, many thanks for having me today. Yes, that's correct. This is the first time that a UN independent expert has clearly established that Israel is committing acts of genocide against Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. It provides compelling arguments and a very detailed legal analysis showing that at least 3 acts may amount to genocide. It refers to the Special Rapporteur Albanese clearly mentioned the mass killings of Palestinians, considering that at the moment more than 32,000 people have been killed by the IDF in Gaza, the causing serious bodily and mental harm, and the imposition of conditions of life imposed in order to destroy Palestinians as a protected group in the Gaza Strip. In this regard, she provides, again, compelling arguments and evidence that these conditions concern, for instance, the forced displacement of almost 2 million people in a context in which there is no safe area, the destruction of the healthcare system, and also the deprivation of essential goods as a consequence, a direct consequence of the decision of the Israeli Minister of Defense, Yoav Gallant, to impose a total seizure on Gaza on the 9th of October 2023.
Professor, but is that going to make an impact on the ground? Because we were just speaking to our correspondent, Izar Sadawi, out of Gaza, and he said, basically, despite United Nations Security Council binding resolution, which basically asked for a ceasefire, Israeli attacks continue across the Gaza Strip. So would a senior UN official equating Tel Aviv's actions to a genocide stop Israel from attacking Gaza?
Well, as we have seen, even binding from an international law perspective, acts, resolutions of the Security Council you were mentioning before, but also the ICJ decision finding that there is it's plausible that Israel is engaging in acts of genocide in Gaza have not been respected by Israel. So it's likely also to argue that, to conclude that Israel is not going to take into account this report. In order to push Israel to respect international law and to comply also with the decision of the International Court of Justice and with the Security Council resolution, now it's necessary that states intervene, also individual states. How? For instance, they could individually, even not going through the United Nations, would impose sanctions on Israel like they've done in other contexts, for instance, against Russia, and they starting from a total arms embargo against Israel. That's a measure, initiative. I think now it's necessary, and it's the only way to push Israel to comply with the International Court of Justice decision and with the Security Council resolution.
And Professor, before I let you go, of course, as you know, a proceeding is also underway at the International Court of Justice. So what do you think the likely outcome is going to be from that proceeding, assuming that the ICJ does declare Israeli actions as a genocide? Do you think that's going to stop Israel from attacking Gaza?
Well, what is going to stop Israel from attacking Gaza is the pressure of the international community. So the position of the International Court of Justice, the decision has already produced some important effects. He says, for instance, on the basis of the decision, Spain and Belgium have stopped to sell arms to Israel. Private companies, like in Japan, have stopped to transfer weapons to Israel. So we have seen already some of these effects that are not enough in order to to stop Israel from committing plausible acts of genocide. For that, I think that first of all, it's important that the US are going to establish clearly that the resolution is binding, because under international law, the Security Council resolution is binding, and then the Security Council is going to meet again and to decide clear sanctions, as I said before, following the violation of the Security Council resolution by the Israeli authorities.
Professor Triestino Mariniello, thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.